Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. I just got back from competing in San Jose yesterday. It was another turn and burn and I wanted to sit down and talk to you about the experience. In today's video, I'm going to go over the matches. I'm going to post them here for you, and just a really big thing that a lot of people have requested I talk about is how I go about that process of like the mindset work that goes into it and a lot of that stuff, and my post-competition analysis especially. And today I have got that for you, so you gotta stick around I guess for that. So without further ado, I will see you guys in San Jose, and then I will see you back in Arizona. Turning and burning. Okay, so I have my matches pulled up. Of course, I'm going to be putting them on the channel so that way you can see them better. But I'm going to kind of talk you through what I was thinking in these moments and just some things I ran into. And yeah, just because it's kind of fun, because there's a couple of things in them where it was like I was thinking about stuff and kind of where you can see where my head was at. And yeah, so I walked out and I knew that this girl was maybe going to try and wrestle with me, so went in, didn't really go for any quick little takedowns. I looked to maybe get some hand fighting going, grip fighting, and things like that. Her gi felt really loose, and so my collar grip actually didn't feel like it was pulling on her and breaking posture as much as I wanted it to. And so I was trying to figure out how I can tighten that gi up. And then of course always having one of my hands down in case she was trying to shoot. She ended up trying to jump guard, which was actually kind of a shock for me because I usually don't see her playing as much guard. Whenever I get stuck in a closed guard, I keep my elbows tight and outside of the hips, and I usually try to stand up. That's usually one of my go-tos from closed guard. She was going for this cross collar, so making sure that I stay safe because stuff can happen, and I didn't want it to happen to me. So this kind of took a while. I always have one of my hands on the pant grips, or trying to, just in case they drop and they can kind of shoot in on me. So usually I try to keep one of my hands down on the pants just to make sure that if she were to drop, that I would be ready to kind of start the guard passing sequence. We're gonna do some zoomies. Finally she opened up and had to bring my hands back to start fighting the feet. I was trying to get into these headquarters and work some of the passing that I've been doing. I used that foot to step around, and she took it into a single leg X. This is actually where I got caught in. I'm gonna go for some like weaving of the legs. She was kind of kicking around a lot, and you'll see I get swept attempt on here. When I got swept in my head in the moment of the match, I had to tell myself like, oh, we gotta fight the sweep. We can't accept this. And so you're gonna see me kind of turn it into a takedown. I noticed that her body was extended, which allowed me to get my back hooks in. I did some hand fighting from the back. She finished with a back cross collar choke. Gotta wait for the hand to be raised to do my little thing. So there's match one. Going into match two, I knew that the girl wanted to pull guard. I'm a very game competitor. You're gonna see that I did that quick little guard pull. I thought she was going to be pulling guard super fast, so I wanted to at least maybe get an advantage on the board. I don't know anything about what's going through her head, but me as a competitor, I noticed that her stance went up super high, which allowed me to hit my takedown. The other thing I told myself going into these matches is to make sure that my posture is up high. One thing I noted is I could probably do better about addressing grips, but I did a lot of outside passing here. One thing I noted was learning and figuring out and playing with and talking to my coaches about maybe finishing these outside passes a little bit more. Did do a good job about staying on my feet, which is cool, and not accepting the positions and just kind of getting caught into something stupid. But she hit this sweep, which I used to kind of come back up on my feet. You can't see it, but I drive both my elbows back to make sure I don't get caught in a triangle, because if you know me, I get caught in a lot of triangles. And I laugh every single time. But we didn't today. Okay, we didn't get caught in a triangle, so that's a win. But anyway, back to the video. Stand up to my feet, again going into some outside passing, stomping on that bottom foot to see what I can do from this position. She was good about following me with that top leg, so I just felt like I needed to maybe address that grip better. and get a different grip so that way I can either smash pass or get into my next sequences. She goes into these lassos, so I try to go outside passing and kind of get around those. One thing I'm seeing is that this lassoed foot, she uses a good defense on my far side arm. That got me caught. It takes a little bit of time for me to kind of hold the position here until I can address the grip. She goes into this inversion, which is really good. I use that to hold her stacked. We get into a little De La Hiva here. Not a full De La Hiva, kind of like a no man's land position. It's a lot of smash. Go from smash, addressing grips, to outside passing. The other thing was that she had different types of gi pants on. It wasn't the normal drawstring, just because it was like a scrunchied one. So definitely caught me off guard in the middle of our match. Kind of holding that position for a while. It helps me get a better underhook for me to then drive my hips up and go and finish this pass with a knee cut. Or tried to set up this little canto choke, but we tried to just kind of attack it anyway. Kind of opened up this position for me to step over into mount because she extended. I was gonna go for my belt choke, but when I looked down and I saw it was like the ref's belt, I didn't know if I can choke with it. So I let it go and tried to adjust for a cross collar until we ran out of time. So when I was tying my belt, I was like, oh man, there's a lot of belt to tie. So I actually take both the belts and like try to tie them together. And you're gonna see me, I'm literally like over here like laughing because when I tie them, I was like right here. I was like, uh-oh, this one's way too short and my purple belt is too long. I like chuckle because I messed up tying the belt like a little noob. But yeah, good little weekend, a lot to learn from it. Let's kind of jump into post-match analysis stuff. With my mindset training, usually the week prior, I do a fight week mindset thing. I need to kind of change up the prompts a little bit just because of the last two competitions, if you guys know me from Instagram, didn't go my way, which is fine, they happen, but I felt like I needed to really juice up and dive into my mindset and other things too that we will talk about, but I needed to kind of change this up. There's 7 different sections with different prompts in them. The first one is setting my intentions for the week. There's different things in here where it's like finding the excitement, how can I like set a better tone for my training this week? What are my key strengths going into my competitions this weekend? The second section is visualizing, reaffirming. This is actually something different for me that I did this time, is I did a lot more visualization. Wasn't focusing on visualizing myself winning. It was actually visualizing on how I wanted to show up, how I wanted to warm up, how I wanted to be in the bullpen, how I wanted those first few seconds of my match to go, and anything like that to kind of get rid of any of those like uncertainties, I guess, and like really setting the tone with how I wanted to show up. So that was a big one. Section 3 is managing nerves and pressure. Pressure, nerves, those are all different things that we have labeled, different stuff that we think about in preparing for a competition. Nerves are normal, and one thing that my mindset coach taught me is that your nervous system doesn't understand the difference between going out to a competition to fight a girl or going to fight a bear. So this is why we have to do these different types of prompts and journaling and constant reframing to make sure that we are putting ourselves in a position where it's like, no, we're just doing jiu-jitsu. We're not fighting a bear. Putting ourselves in that proper mindset with journaling and with affirmations and with visualization and preparation intentions to make sure that we come prepared to our best self. So, I guess real talk time. The last 2 competitions really kind of spurred up the feelings of me personally just kind of being hard on myself and kind of being like disappointed in like I guess myself and feeling I should be better. So that was kind of a pressure that I had to work through with like the journaling prompts and stuff, and just with my mindset coaches and with my training and my coaches in general, making sure that I understood that that was a possible pressure I could have and reframing it. One thing that helped me too was just, the last few weeks I've been working one-on-one with my coach and really diving into just focusing on getting better at jiu-jitsu and letting go of any of those expectations, because I don't want that pressure and I want to be able to show up as my best self on competition day. And so that's kind of an example of a pressure or any type of adversity that I'm having, reframing it and understanding that it is what it is. How can we make it good? And yeah, and it's just kind of coming back to trusting the process and just working and constantly being better every day. And yeah, so that's that one. The other thing I wrote in here, just in my little pre-stuff, you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, but like we all have our own mountain to climb, and that's just the process, and we can't look too forward or too backwards, and we just have to kind of keep climbing our mountain. And growing is kind of a cool thing. You know, I think a lot of people think like, oh, you just have to get to black belt, but there's a lot of little things that comes between now and black belt. And even when you're in black belt, the mountain is always growing, and the journey just always kind of continues, and just constantly looking to how can I be my best self today and moving forward, and just kind of investing in that long-term process, whatever your goals or aspirations are. Remind myself that I'm growing and I'm getting better, and I'm invested in the long-term process towards my goals for whatever is in the future, whether it was this open tournament, you know, worlds, and just kind of moving forward. So always relying on the process and trusting in my coaches and the work that we're putting in. Section 4 is trusting the process and embracing the opportunity. You know, how can you be excited? How can you find the opportunity? Kind of writing those things down and kind of putting myself in that mindset to find the opportunity, not so much chase the medal. Section 5 is embracing the challenge and letting go of the outcome. This was a big one for me, making sure that I can shift that focus to let go of the result and kind of show up as my best self. So there's prompts in here that kind of help me do that. Just like shifting focuses and how can we turn those into focusing more on my performance and showing up as my best self. Section 6 is focusing on the present moment. This is what we're going to do to stay grounded and remind ourselves that this is the fun part. This is the competition day. This is what we're here for, taking it one match at a time and reminding ourselves of why we showed up. Section 7 is positive reaffirmations and mindset preparation, which is also a new one for me. So I usually don't have like affirmations that I repeat to myself, but this one I felt like it was super important for me to do this because, like I said, the last few competitions kind of hit me hard in my little noggin. Kind of need to repeat these things to myself to keep me in the right headspace and remind myself why I love to do this and why we showed up, and kind of trusting the people in my corner. So there's a last little section, but it's more so like what are your game plans like technically and tactically, and then also what are your mindset goals. So we have those written out, took a picture of those and wrote them out so that way you can see them. On competition day, got a little warm-up in, felt really good during the warm-up. Just did some solo drills, kind of bouncing around, just kind of getting everything ready. In the bullpen after we weighed in, I had my little Jiu Jitsu Jel. If you guys don't know about what Jiu Jitsu Jel is, it's actually a new product that I have been really looking for. Train at different times, so the 6 a.m.s and the 4 p.m.s and 7 p.m.s. I don't usually get a lot of time to like eat before and after to kind of properly fuel those sessions. And Jiu Jitsu Jel is kind of what I've been using, and dude, it has had such a huge effect. Yeah, so I had this before every one of my matches, so before my first match and before my second match. Got my medal to the airport at 2:07. And I was like, okay, I see a plane that's going to take off from San Jose to Phoenix at 3. So I literally show up at the airport at 2:07, get through security, and I go to the customer service and said, hey, is there any way that I can jump on this plane right now? And she's like, oh, yeah, easy. Like, here. So I get my thing. Literally, I'm done with that by like 2:30. And I go, grab my acai, because of course. And then I freaking got home. And I come to find out from the customer service lady that my plane that I had booked was an hour behind, which would have sucked because I would have left at like 8 o'clock at night and wouldn't have gotten home till like 10 versus like when I got home at like 4. Chill Sunday, we're going to get back to work on Monday. And we'll talk to my coaches about kind of what they saw, what we're going to work on to kind of get better in preparation for the next one, which is Worlds. Jumping into Worlds this year. I thought we were supposed to do some family stuff, but we didn't, so I kind of just hung out with my sister. I made friends with the duck. Me and this duck are friends now. I fed him oats. We went and saw a movie. But yeah, so let's dive into the post-competition analysis part. 6 different sections with different questions inside of them. Anyway, the first section is performance. So kind of how did the overall matches go? How did I feel? Writing about those things. What techniques did I execute well? The other thing was like things that I struggled with the most. I'm written down, fixing them, and getting ready for the next one. Of course, I had technical and mental goals for the competition, so I go through and I rate myself on those. Yes, I do rate myself on them. And why? Because then, like if you see here at like the tops of them, I actually go through and I'll highlight any of the competitions where I had like a 9 out of 10 score. So that way, in different matches moving forward, I can kind of come back here and be like, okay, this is what I did to have a better performance, and making sure that I do those things to help me come out my most successful self into my competitions. There's some technical takeaways. So what areas do I need to fix and sharpen? What are some habits or mistakes repeated? So like, was there mistakes made in the first one that followed into the second one that we need to fix? Or habits from the past that I've came in with these ones? The next section is preparation. So how did my preparation go? This one I did a lot of one-on-ones to really dial in on my game, fix a lot of areas of my game. Last section is growth. So how can we grow from this experience? It was saying, what are 3 things that I can work on for the next month? I left this one blank for now, mostly because I want to make sure that I'm not filling those sections up just for myself, that I'm going and talking to my coach about, hey, what are some things that you noticed that we need to fix on moving forward? We're trying to develop a very specific part of my game, so those are things that I want to work with him. Of course, it's Pookie! But honestly, that is it for now. That was the last little section of this post-match analysis stuff. Alright, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys gained something from the video today. Make sure that you guys hit that like and subscribe video so that way you don't miss another one. Or follow me on Instagram. I post there all the time. Thank you guys for always supporting me and being in my corner. I really do appreciate you guys. I think it's very powerful to have people that support you and to have that really good tight-knit team, and I'm just very grateful for you guys, for everything that you guys do for me and all the support. I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you on the next one or on my Instagram. Peace!